I am live. I continue reading a chapter in Vacation. This is a book by Joan Marshall Grant. She was traveling through France in 1946 with her then husband Charles, and this is her account of this journey. We're here in chapter number 15, entitled Silly Symptom. The next morning I woke early, aware of a curious discomfort which made it difficult to turn my head. Charles was still asleep, for by this time we were too familiar with church bells, tractors and sirens to let them disturb us. The mirror confirmed the judgment already made by simple sensation. Under my chin, at the angle of the jaw, were hard swellings, larger than golf balls. Obviously, I had mumps. Tactful to the last, I caused Charles to wake without letting him know I had wakened him deliberately. Pat Verd seems to have made an error, I said flatly. What on earth are you talking about? Do stop gossiping and get back to bed. I've got mumps. There was no point in breaking the news gently. It will be most awkward having mumps in France. He was now thoroughly awake, as well might be. He prodded the swellings with a seemingly ungentle forefinger. Allergy, nothing to fuss about. I was convinced he was trying to pacify me. At least he might have had the wit to know that nothing could be more annoying. Mumps, I said. Why not accept it without arguing? He launched into technicalities which could not have interested me less. What name that other cases of facial lymphatic engorgement had been recorded? I had mumps. I would be taken off to an isolation hospital. Charles would get mumps. Everyone would get mumps. It was probably also a crime to have mumps in France. Nonsense, said Charles, reaching for the hypodermic. While fully sympathizing, it is clear there is no use in talking. He continued over his shoulder as he washed out the syringe. Therefore, since we need a couple of spare needles, I shall go to get them. When I return, you will already have proof that you have been talking great nonsense to me, to no purpose, and bothering yourself, if not me, when it wasn't necessary. Surely, he said with sudden heat, you ought to know more about allergy than anyone by now. He jabbed 0.8 cc into my arm, waited to see that I had a normal first reaction, and was shaved, dressed, and out before I could think of a sufficiently caustic answer. I tried to take my mind off my hideous deformity by going over last night's menu to check whether garlic could have been lurking in it. But there was no garlic, and Madame Blanc had faithfully guarded me from the monster ever since the first evening when I had laboriously explained my ridiculous idiosyncrasy. As this explanation has to be endured at frequent intervals whenever I am abroad, it is unfortunate that ale is so difficult to pronounce. When the hopeful sans ale has at last registered, there is still the danger that they think I am merely being fussy about the aftermath of garlic breath, and that a trace of it will pass undetected. I like the taste of the stuff, and for some odd reason never notice it until too late. But a clove rubbed around a salad bowl is nearly as disastrous as a dish à la provinciale. The dinner had consisted of frogs cooked especially for me, sans ale, and a partridge, a simple roast partridge, perched on a crouton and served with fried potatoes. Not garlic, no garlic there. It must be mumps. I stared at my face again, hope revived. Unless sudden optimism had overtaken me, the swellings were definitely smaller. Within another half hour it was obvious that Charles was right and I was mouthless. Looking only like a dowager with a vast double chin, I went in search of Madame Blanc. Could there have been any garlic in the dinner? I pointed to my face and laughed lightly to show that, in any case, garlic was a joke on me. She clasped her head and broke into profuse apologies. The crouton under the partridge, a little pâté to improve the flavour, pâté with a trace of garlic. So that was the end of chapter 15. Chapter 16 is entitled Ancient Combattant. Ancient Combattant. I read that another time. I'm wishing all a Merry Christmas.